Welcome to Growing Your Team, a podcast designed for small business owners seeking to grow their company with the help of employees and contractors. Your time is limited, which means growing and leveraging teams is essential for business success. The Growing Your Team podcast is the place to learn tips and techniques designed to help you know when it's the right time to hire, how to select perfect fit team members, and how to maximize productivity while creating a positive work environment. Drawing from her 10-plus years of leadership and hiring experience, here is your host, Jamie Van Kuyk.
Hello, Jamie Van Kuyk here, and welcome back to the Growing Your Team podcast. Let me ask you a question. With running your small business, have you ever heard of the term hire slowly, fire quickly? It's a pretty popular saying, but I bet you're thinking about it all wrong. We talked about the term hire slowly, fire quickly in 2 recent episodes. So after you listen to this episode, go back and listen to episode 58 with Lane Lyons and episode 60 with Molly McGrath. Both of those wonderful guests brought up the term hire slowly, and go listen to them so you can also get their take on the topic. When small business owners hear the term hire slowly, fire quickly, they tend to interpret the hire slowly part as don't hire until you absolutely need a team member. Keep putting more stuff on your plate until you're reaching that breaking point. Don't hire. Because you're better off keeping your team small and lean and possibly even just you versus adding the responsibility of a team member to your plate before you need one. And while there might be some things in there that make sense, like don't add the responsibility of a team member to your plate before you need a team member, that is not actually what it means to hire slowly. Why? Because when you do this, what happens? You become overwhelmed. You're really adding too much to your plate, so you're working around the clock. Your customer care, your customer service is starting to drop. All these things impact your ability to keep your business moving forward on a healthy level, keep you moving forward on a healthy level, possibly both physically and mentally, because you're taking too much time for work and not enough time for anything else. And you can even start losing your current customers because they're just not getting the value that they signed up for and they decide to take their money elsewhere. So you can't keep adding things to your plates. Because here's what happens. When we start a business and it's just us, we know that we have to do everything until we reach a certain point. And all of us can say when we started our business, we really didn't know what we were getting into the first time around. Maybe when you started your current business, you're like, all right, I had done a few at this point in time, so I know. But when you started that first business, whether it's this one or one in the past, you probably didn't know what you were truly getting into. You didn't know everything you really had to know or learn in order to have your business function at the level where you want it to function. So what happened? You kept learning new things. You kept putting new things onto your plate in addition to providing the product and service that you wanted to offer when you started your business. And you keep adding more and more, and you learn something new and you add something else on. And something works, so you add something else on or expand it even more. And you keep piling more on your plate. And now your plate is so full that it's a little overwhelming. Your plate starts looking like my daughter does when she accidentally puts on her little sister's clothes. And let me tell you what happened to us the one day. So I'm not really a morning person, so I might come out of the room as I'm getting ready for my work day, just to really say a quick hello to the girls and everything and see them out the door. My husband tends to be the one to get them up and get them moving and ensure they're ready to go. And this particular day, it was pretty close to the beginning of the school year, and I knew my daughter needed some new skirts for her uniform. They were fitting her, but they were definitely getting on the tight side. And I told my husband that I would do it during one of the days for pickup. I would just go a little bit early and run over to the school store to pick up new uniform skirts. And of course, while this was going on, while I'm telling my husband I could do this, I am in one of my busiest months ever here at Growing Your Team. And so just taking those extra 5 minutes was just not happening. But I'm like, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. And so here we are this one day. I pick up my daughter to go to a doctor's appointment. And like I said, we are in one of my busiest months ever. So I'm sitting there at the doctor's appointment as we're waiting for the doctor, trying to get in one more email out to a client before the doctor comes in. And my daughter goes to me and she said something that just caught my attention. And it was, Mom, my teacher says you really need to go buy me new uniforms, that they are getting way too small. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I felt so embarrassed because, yeah, I knew I needed to buy new uniforms, but it was more like, okay, we're getting to that point where we need them, not that they were desperately needed. But here a teacher was calling out the fact that I didn't buy new uniforms right away, like when I should have. So I look at her and I was just like, oh my God, this teacher is so right. How did I not notice how small and tight these uniforms are? Like, it's not only the skirt anymore. It is the shirt. It is like skin tight and then some. Like, she is literally bursting at the seams. And I felt like a horrible parent. And then I'm looking at her and I'm just like, wait, something is not right here. And I was like, come over here. Lily, come here. And I look at it, I look at the shirt, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, this isn't even your uniform shirt. This is your sister's uniform shirt, and not even one that she wears, one that's she already grew out of. So this shirt was 2 sizes smaller than the one she typically wears. And there we were at the doctor's office, ready to meet a brand new doctor for her first time, as she's in her skin-tight uniform that definitely doesn't fit. And that's what most small business owners try to do with their business. They keep piling more and more on their plate, being like, I got this, I got this. Like she was like, I got it on, it was in my drawer, so it must be right. And just because you can squeeze in that last little thing doesn't mean you should. Your plate's too full. And when your plate gets too full, you suffer as a person and your business suffers. You start doing things like jumping on and working all weekends, missing out on family activities, not going out with friends, not taking care of yourself, not taking the time to make yourself healthy meals. You start sacrificing sleep and all these things because you just need to add this one little thing to your plate. And then once it's on your plate, it's hard to give up. So that's what most people think of when they're hiring slowly, is getting all this stuff onto their plate. But what does it really mean? Hiring slowly really means that you take the appropriate amount of time to find your new hire, to find your great new hire. It means that you don't take the first warm body to fill that seat with. You find the right person. So you hire when it's the right time to hire for your business. You don't wait. You don't say, I think I can get this. Well, we won't worry about hiring quite yet. You hire when the time is right, and you take your time to find the right person. And how do you identify that they're the right person? You set up your hiring processes in a way to attract the right people to your hiring funnel. So that's with your job posting and where you post the job. And then you narrow down the candidates in that funnel by knowing how to properly review their resumes. So how to tell if someone's actually a good candidate versus just having a fancy resume. and what to ask during an interview so you can truly identify if someone is qualified or not. And you don't hire until you find that right person. That's what it means to hire slowly. That you take the time to find the right person. Now, of course, you do need a hiring process set up in a way that's going to bring the right person into your hiring funnel, like I mentioned. But once you're getting those right group of candidates into your hiring funnel, you don't hire until you have the right person. That's what it means to hire slowly. It's not hiring at all. It's going through the motions of hiring and being very clear about what it means to do the job well and hiring that person when you identify them and not rushing just to fill the position. In my next solo episode, so in 2 weeks, we'll talk about what it means to fire quickly. But one of the good things is when you hire slowly, so you take the time to identify the right person, firing quickly is really not something you have to worry too much about. Why? Because you make sure you hire the right person before they ever work a day with you. You put in the effort to make sure they are your dream candidate before they ever work for you. So firing quickly is not something that you have to worry about that often when you take the time to hire slowly. But like I said, in 2 weeks, join me back here and we'll talk more about firing quickly and when it's the right thing to do for your business. Are you ready to hire a new team member for your business and you want to ensure you hire the person who can succeed in the role, make you happy, and positively impact your bottom line? Then set up time and let's talk, because this is exactly how I help business owners like you. When you go through my hire framework, not only will you learn how to attract candidates who have the passion you desire, but you'll be able to identify and select candidates who have the skills you need and can succeed in the role. With my hire framework, you go through 4 core areas. We start off by going through the hiring details. Here, I help you articulate exactly what your position entails so you're not working in reactive mode. We then dig into the very specific criteria your ideal candidate needs to have to be a best fit, not only for your position, but for your company as a whole. Then we move on to step 2, initiating the advertising plan. This is where I create you a detailed custom job posting and a custom advertising plan designed to bring in perfect fit candidates. So you spend your time looking at quality candidates. Then step 3 is all about the review process. I provide you with a review guide that's designed to help you identify quickly what to look for in a submitted application to determine if they're worthy of your time. After you choose the best candidates, I provide you with a custom interview guide so you know exactly what to ask in an interview and make sure the interview is as productive as possible. And then lastly, step 4, it's all about the expectations for success. Once you've hired the best candidate, I help you make sure your onboarding plan is as efficient as possible so you can set your new hire up for long-term success and no more having to go through the yo-yo of the hiring and firing cycle. You have a team member on your team who's going to stick around and perform at the level needed. Going through this consultant process not only helps you find the right new hire for your current open position, but it teaches you how to repeat this process with every new position you add to your company as it continues to grow. So if you're a small business owner who is ready to hire, has a rough idea of the position you need to add, and you're tired of going through the hiring process only to end up with bad fitting team members, then let's talk. send me an email at jamie@growingyourteam.com. That's Jamie, Jamie, @growingyourteam.com, or head on over to growingyourteam.com/jumpstart and let's talk about your hiring needs.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Growing Your Team with your host, Jamie Van Kuyk. Be sure to subscribe and head on over to growingyourteam.com to connect, access the show notes, and discover more ways to hire and leverage your perfect fit team.